Okay, we're back.
Okay.
Sorry about that. We should now be streaming to YouTube as well. I don't know. Maybe I'll look into. We were streaming to YouTube before, but it was our educators YouTube channel instead of our normal YouTube channel. So I might move that video over later. I don't know. Depends on how lazy I'm feeling. But for those who are just joining us on YouTube, we are making a Hollow Knight-like game in Arcade. And so what we've done so far is we're using the platformer extension. That is Microsoft/Arcade Platformer is the repo name for that. And right now we're talking about doing the sword slash. So we've created a sword sprite. We've given it a kind sword. And I'm going to turn wall jumps off, by the way, because Hollow Knight does not actually have wall jumps. I think maybe it does if you unlock something, but not by default. I don't think. Does it? Silksong does, but you have to unlock a thing to get it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and just play an animation on this guy. So go into animations right here. Animate sword sprite. And we're going to choose the slash to the right animation that I did, which is this one. We're going to have loop turned off. And now when I press B, we should see that going. So there you go. It's a quick little slash animation. Now, right now, it's we should probably make it so that the last frame in this is transparency. So that we don't get this leftover thing at the end. There you go. So now we can see that little slash. Looks good. Might be a little big, but it's fine for now. Okay. So we want to make it so that this guy is placed correctly for our sprite. So we want to be kind of like centered on our sprite, and extending a little bit to the right if we are facing to the right. So we're going to go ahead and inside here, we're going to we'll do this inside an on-game update. We're going to make a variable that we're going to call slash direction. All right. And we are going to, for the directions, we're going to do classic Richard style, which is 0 equals up, 1 equals right, 2 equals down, 3 equals left. So this is just my convention that I use in all of my games. So we're just going to be doing to the right now. So we're going to go ahead and set this to be to the right. And now inside here, we're going to go ahead and say if slash direction equals to the right, so 1, then we are going to set the position of our sprite. So we're going to go ahead and set our sword sprite's position. We're going to set the left equal to the right of our sprite. We're probably going to actually want to move it a little bit over to the left, but this will be fine for now. And we're going to set the Y so that we're just centered. So we want the Y to just be the same. All right, so now when we press B, it should be centered on our guy. So there we go. Yeah, so this is, it's nice that it's moving with us now and stuff. It should probably be moved a little bit over so that it's like starting out above us. It's extending a little far right now. So let's just move it a few pixels over. We're just going to go ahead and do a minus in here for our right, and we're just going to subtract like 3 pixels. There we go. That feels a bit better. Okay, so there's our slash. All right. Let's do it in the other directions. So right now we're just hard coding our slash to 1. Let's go ahead and do the other ones. So to do this, we need to detect which direction we're facing. And luckily, there is a nice block inside of the platformer extension for doing this. So inside here, we have this, let's see. Oh, wait, do we not have the has state block? Oh, here it is. Cool. All right. I was worried there for a second. Okay, so if we have the state facing right, we're going to go ahead and set our slashing direction to 1. Otherwise, if we have the state facing left, we're going to set it to 3. And now for if you look in this dropdown, you will see there is not a facing up and facing down. That's because platformers are kind of, scrolling left, right. That's kind of their deal. So we're going to handle those ones just by using the button pressed block. So we're going to go ahead and say is button pressed. And inside here, we actually want to put these button pressed cases above our has states, because one of these will always be true. Will always be either facing left or facing right. So if we check the is up button pressed after we check these, we'll never get to it because one of these will have taken over first. So want to go ahead and put this one in first. We're going to go ahead and say if up, set our slash direction to 0. If down is pressed, set our slash direction to 2. All right. And now we just need to switch our animation. So we're going to go ahead and put this in for our right animation right here. And then for our left animation, let's go ahead and select the right one. So that is going to be this one. And we need to add a frame of transparency at the end. Okay, so this is down. So let's go ahead and choose this one. And once again, add a frame of transparency. And now we want to do the up one, which is this one, and transparency. Okay. So now if I press up, if I'm holding up and I press B, there we go. We have that. And you might have seen like, oh, it's positioned perfectly. That was just a coincidence. As soon as I walk over here, it no longer is. So we'll be positioned correctly if we're using right, but otherwise it'll just be staying wherever the last slash was, you know. So let's go ahead and do the rest of our slash directions here. So we're going to go ahead and say, let's move one down here for the second one because it is the second one. And we'll go ahead and set this one to be 0. So this will be up. Then we have 2, which is down. And then we have the last one, which I'm going to put in just for completeness, which is left. So left is going to be the same as right, but we are going to be setting it to, we're going to be setting the right of our sprite to be the left plus 3. There we go. And now we should have the left working. There we go. Looking good. And we need to set the up and down as well. So for the up and down, the X is going to be the same instead of the Y. So actually, let's just, duplicate this, put this right here. Set X to X. It'll be the same for both. And then for this one, so if we're slashing downwards, we want to set the top of our sprite to be the bottom of our character minus 3. And then this one is going to be, again, just reversed. So bottom to be the top plus 3. All right. Now our sword should follow us around properly. So there we go. Cool. All right. Well, that works. So that's all nice and good. Let's make it so that we can't, we need to wait for the animation to finish before we start another one. So right now I can do this where I just like hammer on it. And before the animation even finishes, I'm like starting another slash. Right. So for that, we're going to basically store a time here, which is going to be slash end time. We're going to make another variable, which we're going to call slash duration. And we'll set this right here. So our animation is 3 frames long, and then there's one frame of transparency at the end. So that would be 150 milliseconds. We probably want to make it a little bit longer than that so that you can't just keep slashing super fast. I mean, this is something you're going to want to tune in your game. But I'm going to go ahead and set the slash duration to be 200. And in here, we're going to set our slash end time to be equal to our current time, which we can get from the game category, plus whatever our duration is. And to make it so that we can't start another slash before this one is over, we're going to check inside of here. Actually, I'm going to just go ahead and take the slash duration and put it into our on start. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and say, is our time greater than or equal to our /end time? And then put all of this inside of the if statement. Okay. So now we can do at most 200 milliseconds, right? Which is nice. And so we can't do that like total spamming thing anymore, which is good because it also means you can't just like flip your slash's direction either, which we could do before. So, all right. This is nice. We got a sword slash. We got it moving around with us. Let's do a few other just random things to make sure that this is all working correctly. We're going to first set a flag on this. So right now, you see, we don't actually have a problem with this interacting with walls. But just because I'm a little bit paranoid, we're going to go ahead and set the goes through walls flag on this guy. Mm-hmm. So sword sprite goes through walls. Set that to true because we don't want this guy to worry about walls. We want it to ignore walls. Which is also true in Silksong, at least. You can totally slash enemies through walls, which is occasionally useful. So now we don't have to worry about it getting bumped up against things. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to do the actual, what's the word I'm looking for? Hitbox, right? So let's put something in this game for us to slash. I'm going to make an enemy. I'm going to get real creative here. There you go. Look how devious he looks.
Ooh, I'm kind of intimidated, Richard, by his scary face.
All right, we're gonna put this guy right here, and we're also gonna make a spike tile. So for the spike, you know what? We'll just make it nice and red, and we're going to do this, and we're gonna go ahead and put some spikes in our game right here. Okay. So, cool. Let me put in a couple more of these enemy guys. Up here, over here. Yeah, cool. All right. Let's go ahead and create sprites for these enemies we just created. Why isn't my game reloading?
It goes.
What the heck? Gonna refresh. All right, don't know what that was, but there we go. Okay, so we got our enemies. We're gonna go ahead and create sprites for all these guys. So inside of our on tile map loaded, we're going to do a I guess just a for of loop, and inside of this scene, we're going to grab the all locations block right here. We're going to make this be our enemy tiles. And for this, we are going to set our enemy tile to be transparency. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the enemy tile. There, just drag out this value block into there. So now we should see all these disappear, but we're also going to create a sprite at that location. So go ahead and give this kind enemy. We're going to just drag this out, give it the same image, and we're going to place it on top of that tile. There you go, this one. So we're going to place them on top of that tile right there. Oh, there you go. All right, cool. So we now have sprites there where there were once tiles. And we want to be able to slash these guys and see them take damage. But let's actually define real quick the mechanics that we kind of want to see in a Hollow Knight-like game. All right. So we got our sword slashing and our basic movement and jumping done, right? So movement, jumping, sword slashing. What are some other things that we kind of expect in this game? And Sarah, Joey, feel free to shout it out. I know you haven't played Sarah, but just kind of, you can think of some generic platformer things. Then, yeah. So one thing is that when we overlap with an enemy, we take damage, right? So overlap equals damage, and it's not just damage. We also get knocked back. Right. So when we hit an enemy, we get pushed back in the direction that we hit them from.
Are you thinking any kind of abilities or anything, or
no? We're not going to get to those yet. Okay. Then the next thing is sword overlap enemy equals damage plus knockback for them. And then we have pogo jumping, like we mentioned before. And overlap spikes equals death. Though actually the way it works in Hollow Knight is your last like solid ground location is where you respawn. So if you hit spikes, then you get like respawned up to where your last like good location was, more or less. Mm-hmm. Okay. So do we want to start with damaging enemies, or do we want to start with us getting damaged? Opinions?
No thoughts.
You guys, when I ask questions and you don't know the answer, just shout something random out.
Okay.
Because
I like damaging enemies because then we can do the bounce. We can incorporate the bouncing on there, and pogoing is the best part of the game.
All right.
I was just gonna ask too. Does movements include dashing?
So dashing is like a special ability in Hollow Knight. Like you unlock it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we can totally do dashing, which the platformer extension now supports. But we'll deal with that later. Okay, so Wolfmo says pogo. All right, so we want to go ahead and make it so that we can hit enemies. And I actually don't remember if you hit an enemy, do you get knocked back too? Don't know the answer to that. I'll have to figure that out for next time. But let's start by creating another sprite. So we have a sprite right now, which is our sword sprite, which has playing this nice little animation. We do not want that for our hitbox, though. We want to have a hitbox that is the actual shape of our arc and that is always filled in. So that's what Hollow Knight does. So what we're going to do is we're going to create another sprite or another image. Let's go ahead and go into assets. This image is going to be 23 by 23 because that is the size of our slash. And we're going to go ahead and just fill it in. Let's make this green, nice and standing out, with that D shaped that we talked about. So I'm going to come out like this. And then okay, this is a little too pointy. Probably move this. Oh, whoops.
Yeah, I would consider that more house shaped.
Yeah, we'll move this all over like this and just fill that in. So that's going to be what our hitbox looks like. And we're going to go ahead and, you know what? I am going to edit this a little bit. Let's take it like one step back. Like that. All right. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this, rotate it, hitbox down. And you get the idea. We're just going to keep doing this. There we go. We got our 4 hitboxes now. So heading back over to our code, we're going to create another sprite here. And actually, you know, for the sword sprite, we can actually just go ahead and set this to fully ghost. Let's do that because we're not actually going to do any overlaps with the sword sprite. This is purely for show. What we're going to do is we're going to make another sprite. So let's go ahead and make another variable. We'll call this sword hitbox. And we are going to set our sword hitbox to be a sprite of kind sword. And once again, I want to make sure we have that 23 by 23 size because that is the size of what our image is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are doing our position setting right here, oh, and let's go ahead and set that goes through walls thing on our sword hitbox as well.
Yeah, and this is going to be the D that you were talking about earlier that represents the hitting enemies. Yeah.
So we're going to set our sword hitbox to be in the same position as our sword sprite. So it's just always going to be in the same position. Wait, sword sprite x hitbox is going to be equal to our sword sprite x. And in here, we are going to go ahead and set our hitbox image, depending on which slash we did. So right now, our sprite is secretly moving around, but we can't see it because we are not actually giving it an image with anything in it. So we're going to grab the set image thing right here. And we're going to go ahead and set our sword hitbox image to be, and then go ahead and choose this one. So this is our up one, so we're going to choose that one. And next is down, so go ahead and get that one. Then we have right. Then we have left. All right, and now we should see this guy, this gigantic thing appearing. Right. So this is our hitbox, and obviously we're going to make this invisible, but you can see the basic idea of like how this is going to be positioned for us.
It reminds me of an ant carrying a leaf.
Yeah, it is kind of like that, isn't it? Which is appropriate because Hollow Knight's all about bugs. So we're going to go ahead and set this guy to be invisible now that we know what it looks like. So we're going to go to our sword hitbox, set invisible on so that we can't see it. There we go. And in here, we are going to also, right now our hitbox is always there. We only want our hitbox to be actually active while the slash is happening. So inside of an on-game update, we are going to go ahead and say, is our time since start greater than or equal to our slash time? And if it is, then we are going to set ghost through sprites on. And then when we start our slash, we're going to set ghost through sprites to be off. Let's see. Is this actually... it's probably fine. The thing I was wondering here was like, is it a problem that it's going to be like a second before? It's going to be it might take a frame for this to happen, but the controller actually gets updated at the beginning of the frame. So, oh yes, this could be a problem. Okay, so probably want to take this ghost through sprites thing, and we're just going to set it inside of this on-game update right here. So we'll set ghost through sprites to be time since start is greater than or equal to slash in time. All right. So the thing I was worrying about there is that if we put it right here, the position doesn't actually get updated until the next frame. And so it's possible that it could trigger at the old position for one frame and then teleport to the new one. So you could end up like, if I slashed over here, and then I moved over here and slashed, it would like trigger for 1 frame on this guy before teleporting over here and then triggering correctly. So anyway, this fixes that because now we're just updating it inside of an on-game update, which will happen at the same time that the movement happens. So we can actually go ahead and put this inside of our other on-game update. Separate. Put it at the bottom. Hey, cool. Well, okay, wait, come on. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and do our actual overlap. So we're going to go ahead and grab inside of sprites. We're going to do an overlaps other sprite. And we're going to do our sword overlaps enemy. And for now, just to see this is working, we're just going to go ahead and destroy our enemy.
Oh, I thought you were going to say for now we're going to set it to pogo.
We'll do pogo. Don't worry. Okay. So there we go. I can now hit my enemies with my sword slash. And they are destroyed. All right. Cool. Okay, we don't want to destroy them, though. We want to, like, hit them. And if we are in the air and we hit downwards, then we want to pogo off of them, right? So I need to remember to actually use the keyboard controls, which I never do. I always end up moving with my things and then pressing A and B. But that will not work for if I am trying to do pogo stuff. So I need to remember to use my keyboard controls. Okay. So let's get to it. We're going to go into this on sprite of kind sword overlaps other sprite of kind enemy. And let's start with the knockback. So we want to basically our enemy we don't want our enemy to be hit multiple times by 1 slash. So we need to like mark some state on them that says, oh, I'm hit. I'm invincible until this slash ends. And we also want to make it so that when they get hit, they like get bumped, you know, in whatever direction. So we're going to go into extensions and we're going to add the sprite data extension. And in here, we are going to go ahead and set some data on our guy. So we're going to set other sprite. And so typically what we're doing right here, this is called iframes, which is invincibility frames. Let me just call it invincible end time. And we're going to be setting this equal to whatever our current time is, plus however long we want this to, like, the invincibility to last. So I'm just going to make it the same as the slash duration. And we'll put that in right here. And we're going to check this in our overlap handler right here so that we make sure that the overlap doesn't trigger more than once. We're going to put this inside of our if true right here. Get rid of this destroy. And we're going to say if our time since start is greater than or equal to, and grab the data as number right here. Whoops. Other sprites, invincible end time. All right, now one little bit of thing here. So unlike variables, the sprite data extension does not actually set these to 0 by default. So this will return undefined, I think. Let me put the destroy here. We can test this out real quick. So if it gets destroyed, then I'm wrong. If it doesn't get destroyed, then I'm right. Yeah. So this is being set to undefined by default. And this will always evaluate to false because that's if you compare something with undefined, like greater than or equal to, it just always returns false. So we need to initialize this to 0. So we're going to do that inside of sprites. We're going to go to on sprite created and make this kind enemy. And we're going to go ahead and set the invincible end time to 0. That way, we will return true for this instead. So there we go. Wait, what the heck? Why is my... You guys seeing this?
It's stuck above you.
I know. What happened there? Oh, looks like I accidentally pulled out some variables here. Wonder how that happened. Yeah, they just got bumped out. All right. There we go. Okay. Back to normal. All right. So that's all good. Head back over to our destroy and remove that. And instead, we're going to play like we want to make it clear that they got damaged. So we're going to play a little animation on them, and we're going to knock them back. So the animation we're going to do is we're just going to do like the most basic animation you can imagine, which is I'm actually going to make a function for this. It's going to be called make damage animation. It's going to take in a sprite. And what we're going to do for this is we're going to create an array. And in this array, we are going to create an image. Well, we're going to grab the image of our sprite right here. And then we want to have one more frame, which is just going to be all of the pixels in the image set to white. So we want to make sure that these images are different because right now, if we change this one, it's going to change this one too. So inside of images, we're going to grab the clone block, that right there. And we want to loop over all the pixels in this guy and say if it has anything set when we're going to set the pixel to white. So let's go ahead and create two variables, index x and index y. There we go. Index x, index y. And we're going to go into images and grab the width and height block for our thing. And inside arrays, we're going to do list get value at 1 because we're changing the second image. Go make this height. And I'm going to be a good person and I'll actually do the -1 here, but it doesn't actually matter. For images, if you do a get pixel outside the bounds, it'll just always return transparency. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's good to be a good person and actually put -1. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stick this if statement in here, and we're going to do the color at block right here. Get that same image. And we're going to put in a comparison block, and we're going to say, if the color at our x, y does not equal 0, then we are going to set that pixel at x, y to white. And then at the end of this, we just have to return our list. There we go. We have created a damage animation. So we're going to go ahead and play our damage animation on our sprite. So we're going to do animate our other sprite. Go into functions, grab the make damage animation, pass in our other sprite, set the interval to be 100, set loop on. Right now, it's never going to stop, but we should be able to see it. So there we go. All right.
That's flashing.
Flashing. So we want this to run until we are no longer, you know, invincible. So inside of an on-game update, this is something that we're going to have to tweak later if we add more enemy types. But for now, we're just going to loop over all of our enemy sprites. Wait, what am I doing? Where's the arrayable sprites of kind? I can never find it. This is like the one thing in the sprite category I can never find because it's in life cycle, which like makes no sense. All right. Looping over all of our enemies. And inside here, we're going to be checking this. I'm just going to copy this right on over. And we're going to say if time since start is greater than the invincible end time for our sprite, we're going to go ahead and set the image to be the enemy image and stop our animation. Right now, this is going to run every frame, which is a little silly, but it's fine. You know, it's not actually a problem. Okay, put that in there. So now if I hit it, you should flash for a second and then stops. Right. All right. Cool. Let's do the knockback. So to do the knockback, we want to basically hit them in a direction that is like, we're going to figure out the direction from this to the center of our sword slash, and then kind of set the velocity in there. Let's see. Hi, Astronomer. Hollow Knight-like game? Yeah, so we're planning on working on a Hollow Knight-like game because, you know, we see a lot of people try to make it on the forum, and we will hopefully show people how it's done, so that we get fewer abandoned Hollow Knight projects. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and bump this guy back. And to bump this guy back, we need to set its velocity. So for that, we're going to be using the sprite util extension. So let's go ahead and do it. j1dirl/arcade sprite util. And we're going to go into sprite utils, grab the set velocity at angle. Go ahead and grab the angle from block as well. And we're going to do the angle from our sword to our enemy. Set the speed to be like 20. And we are going to be setting this on our enemy sprite. All right, so this is going to set our velocity, but it's not going to stop it. So it's just going to go flying off in that direction. There we go. Great. Okay. Okay, I'm seeing right now that we should probably actually base the velocity off of the direction off of our sword slash direction. Because like right now I'm slashing to the right, but because of where I have to be positioned, it's being hit in the opposite direction, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I like how the one that you first hit is just kind of like floated away. It's just up there.
So they never stop moving right now. To do that, we need to do some like to make them stop moving. We'll probably just use some friction, but we'll be handling this next time. So that'll be it for us today. So next time we're going to be looking at doing these enemies, giving them some actual behavior so that they're not just floating stationary, and doing this kind of knockback, damage taking, and health kind of behavior. And we'll also probably be doing pokeling because that's also tied into all of this. So tune in next time. We're going to keep working on this on Monday because I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Maybe we should do more streams where we just recreate games, because I feel like there are a lot of games that people try to make that are a little bit tough in arcades. So even though Hollow Knight is actually, I think, easier than like Sonic. Sonic's hard. But all right, anyway, we got a gameplay from Astronomer, and let's check it out. This is Richard Run, a game I'm a fan of because I'm in it. I love the start thing so much. Okay, you guys can't hear it, unfortunately, because we were having sound issues today. But all right, let's go. Oh man, we have multiple Richards.
Apparently, only the top 3 work.
Right? Oh, okay, all right. I do like that you have the pigeon deliverance pigeon in here. That's great because drawn by Shannon, who also drew my profile pic. Okay, we're gonna be pigeon deliverance pigeon. Ooh, how do I select? Okay, we're just gonna go with the default then. Nice. I like that you put in a little jump sound for this. Okay. I was like, am I wall jumping? No, we've got Kirby jumping going on. So which means you can just keep jumping as you press the button.
Oh, okay.
And you have the little mailbox from Pigeon Deliverance too. That's pretty cool.
I thought it was just double jumping, but that's just because I'm bad, I guess.
That's nifty. Yeah, I like your parallax thing a lot that you've got going on. I'm assuming you use the background scroll extension. And yeah, I'm excited to keep playing this. I feel like you need to. I'm getting the hang of it now, but these jumps are a little hard to do. And I wonder.
Yeah, I just jumped twice.
Yeah, I wonder if the solution here is to either make the jumps floatier, so you're jumping up higher, but then kind of falling down slower, or if you want to just slow down the movement speed so you have more time to think about it, or like a combination of the two. Because once you get the timing right, it's good, but I know I'm going to forget this timing as soon as I'm like not doing this actively anymore, you know? But yeah, this is a good start. Very cool. I look forward to playing more of it. Keep sending it in when you make updates. All right, so outros. Remember, we have a game jam going on right now. It is heist themed. So if you want to make a game about stealing things or thieves, rogues of any kind, just go ahead and put that up and submit it. We will, as always with our big game jams, we will be choosing winners and honorable mentions, and those games get to be featured on the home screen. Ooh, everyone will see your game. Children in classrooms across the world will play your game instead of listening to the teacher. And
That is not no, it's not endorsed. Do not do that.
And you can find all of the details up on the Game Jam site, which is linked to you on the from the forum post. So go ahead and check that in. It should be pinned on the forum right now. And let's see, is there anything else going on? No, I think we have a normal schedule next week, so we should be good to go. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Richard, at Richard on the MakeCode forum.
I'm Joey, at JWonder on the MakeCode forum.
And I'm Sarah, at Sarah on the MakeCode forum.
And yeah, we'll see you next week. See you on Monday. Bye, everybody.